live or not?
Live.
We'll say. All right, there we go.
We hot.
Never had any doubt.
Let's fire it up.
What's up, dude bros?
What is up, Brian?
Living the
What's
dream.
up, dude?
Let's welcome in everybody here. We're nice and live. I think it's finally working. Is this thing on? Yeah, I think it's on.
Yes, sir.
Well, this is a sports ball talk, and these are your dude bros. To my bottom here, we got GB, and to the top, as always, we got the dude. This is your top 25 live show pick, and let's get right into it, man. The first one's kind of sad. The spread is kind of gigantic, and the over and under I don't think is quite enough. I think it's going to be a really, really sad day for these Rutgers. It's going to be all bad. I think that spread is accurate. I think Ohio State's going to come out here and just lay a thumping on these freaking Knights, man. It's I don't want to harp on it too bad, but this is going to be the thumping I've been looking for Ohio State to put on somebody, and they're getting ready for next week. I think they cover, and I think this is going to be an over game, man. It's going to be a lot of points and backups in early. So what are you thinking, GB? Oh, well, show me something, dude. You're in here.
1 point.
Oh, 1 whole point.
Didn't know if that was going to throw you off.
1 point down, 1 point up.
1 point. It's 31.5.
Ooh, interesting. Well, Brian, thanks for having me on the show. Glad to be here with you, gentlemen. I'm going to start off by jumping exactly on that train. The Buckeyes will absolutely cover, even if it is 31.5 points, and it will be an over game. What about you, dude? What is your take?
I feel like I have to say that Rutgers is going to at least hold the line right now.
Because of that one extra point?
I mean, I think that they very well may lose by 30 points.
Mm.
So I was already right there. I'll give it to Rutgers. We'll say, yeah, I'm going to hold with that. I think that they hold it, and Ohio State just does not eke it out there. And then there's a lot of upset people, and that blows their parlay or whatever they got going on. And that's what you get for betting on the Buckeyes. Nah, Buckeyes are solid.
Yeah, I wouldn't bet a penny on the game, but I think this is going to be a thumping, man. Just like the next one, I don't think it's going to be much better there. Couldn't even get odds on the game.
Well, the line is 17.5 points. Texas A&M beating them by 17.5. Which, sorry to cut the line there. I think they're going to cover that easily.
Yeah.
I will say this is the third highest ticket price this week at $92, which is baffling.
Down. Wow.
Third highest.
The third highest in all of college football.
Wow.
And is that because the bottom 6 or 7 now of the top 25 are all teams that most people wouldn't normally think would be in the top 25? So you don't have these big name schools out there. And maybe even though my team's ranked, number 15 or so, I still don't think it's worth going to the game. Me, Virginia Tech, that game is $6 tickets right now.
What?
$6 tickets for a team that absolutely has a playoff shot. All right, I'll get off my soapbox.
Something strange in the air.
I'll get off my soapbox.
I'll jump on Sanford, Texas A&M real quick. All I want to comment is on what an unbelievable comeback by Texas A&M this weekend against South Carolina. That first half was playing out of their minds. It was almost a repeat of the Alabama game, And then A&M got it together, pushed a shutout in the second half. I don't know if that was to make some dramatic bets there to appease some people, but they definitely closed the deal as they needed to at the end there. As far as this game, I don't see there being a spread or a line. When I just looked up there earlier, I obviously think that Texas A&M will win. ESPN analytics say that Sanford has a 1% chance to win. 1%.
You're saying there's a chance.
So you're saying there's a chance. You took the words out of my mouth. What about you, Brian? What's your take on this?
I just think it's going to be another thumping, man. They're number 3. I don't really want to comment on that comeback. the best story I could see across the board from all the major broadcasters was like, man, I can't imagine what Elko told those boys at halftime to make this turnaround. I was like, yeah, that's all it was. This was that. But I digress. Yeah, it's
You're not
they're at
hinting
home,
at some
man.
shenanigans, are you?
No, we don't have a couple shorts on shenanigans like that at all. But yeah, that was something. Yeah, we'll shave that for a different podcast. But anywho, yeah, it's a thumping, man. I don't care what the spread is. A&M's going to cover it. They got to make sure that everybody forgets what happened last week in that first half, and they're going to come out here and do the same thing Ohio State just did. So, or what I think they're going to do anyway. So yeah, just a beat down, man. I don't see much light at the end of the tunnel for these guys. The next game I do think is going to be pretty dang competitive, and that's just because I think Oklahoma's riding a high right now because they might have beat a team that I'm familiar with and enjoy, but I
got
there
Borat
was
down there.
Well,
Very nice.
what is it? 4 or 5 weeks now I've been going, just waiting for that Theismann game. Just give me that big Theismann game. And we got here's the ball again. We can't run the ball. Our offensive line suddenly doesn't know how to block or pass protect. It was man, all the inconsistencies kind of came out all at once on Bama this Saturday, and it was ugly to see. And made my eyes rain. But
Yeah.
Oklahoma's solid, man. Their defense has been barely spotty here and there, but for the most part, they've been very good, and they showed up on Saturday. So I think it's going to be a very defensive game. I do think Oklahoma's going to pull this one out. I do see them covering that 8.5-point spread. I think it's going to be maybe a 10-point game, and I do think that's because it's a really good game for about 3 quarters, and then they maybe shut them out in the fourth or halfway through the fourth, something like that. I think it's going to be a good game to watch just because I like defense, but I think it's going to be under for that reason. So I think Oklahoma covers, but I think we're going to be under. What are you thinking there, GB?
Well, as you were talking about, the Oklahoma Sooners went out and had a very impressive defensive game against Alabama. I think that was obviously what rolled the Tide over. Ty Simpson got throttled on one play that left him jarred for the entire rest of the game, which it was exciting to watch. You want those games to be exciting. So with that in mind, I think that they will absolutely have a similar performance against Mizzou. When I checked earlier, I think the line was down to 7.5. Maybe, dude, you can double check that for me.
Yeah,
but I do think they will cover that. However, I'm going to leave the over-under alone. I could really see it going either way, but I would only bet on the Sooners covering the 7.5 points. What about you, dude?
I'm going to say that I am confident this game will go over. I don't think the Oklahoma Sooners are going to cover either.
Ooh.
You're looking for more of a
shootout. Do they win?
Yeah, I think that they still win. I think that's pretty solid, but I think we're going to get more of a game than a lot of people are thinking we're going to get out of this one.
Well, Mizzou had a really impressive showing against Mississippi State last week. I definitely don't count them out for that. There was huge points on the board for them. Exactly, but we are at Oklahoma. I think that's the deciding factor for the cover.
Yep.
I think it's going to come down to the last draw.
Let's hope it's a good shootout.
Fair enough. What we going into next? Miami or?
Yeah, I didn't really want to touch on that too hard. With I've been saying for 3 or 4 weeks now that Franklin was going there, and everybody was like, "Oh, he hasn't signed. He's looking around. He's doing this. He's doing that." He was just looking for make sure he had $30 million to spend on his roster next year. Tech was like, "Yeah, we got you. No problem. Come on over." And that's the deal now. So I think their focus is very much more on all that circus, and maybe their boys do want to play some football, but there's just too much hubbub over there. So I think Miami comes in here and rolls these guys. I don't think that they cover that 17.5-point spread. I think they win by 2 touchdowns. But that's just because I don't think they got to score that many points. I'm not really going to touch the over and under because, who knows? Carson might have gotten an eye doctor this past weekend. He might go off. I don't know. But, I think they definitely win. I don't think they cover, and I'm not fooling with the over and under. What about you guys?
Go ahead, dude.
I mean, I'm still just stuck on the fact that you can get $6 tickets to a team that has a very high probability of being. I mean, it's a playoff team. They're a ranked team, and Virginia Tech. I mean, that's a historically good team, and it baffling. But I'm gonna have to pretty much toe exactly the line here, and which is now, let me just double verify. Yeah, 17.5 points still. I think that's solid. I'm with it all the way.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Virginia Tech, I think they're excited about having James Franklin, as you mentioned, Brian, but they've had a really rough season, 2-4 in conference play. Very surprising on the ticket prices, dude. But Miami had a really definitive win, I think, against NC State last week. Put up lots of points on the board. They're trying to battle for that ACC championship as well as the playoff because they're right in there neck and neck for that, especially with whatever outcome we get in this Georgia Tech game we'll discuss here in a few minutes. Right. I'm leaning towards Miami covering, but my only bet is that I would guarantee it's going to be an over game.
I'm with that.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough. SMU's been a surprising team this year. It's been kind of this thing with the coach, with the play, with the players. They look really good sometimes. They pissed some people off this year. I might have called an upset not too long ago. But this is going to kind of be – this is absolutely where Louisville, the rubber's going to meet the road, man. They are fighting to try to stay relevant in the playoff. They are fighting for their spot. I mean, top 20, depending on how this weekend shakes up. And to be fair, there's a lot of fluff in this weekend. Some of these picks I wasn't very interested in just because it's the fluff games for these guys to get ready for the rival next week. So I just I would not bet on this game. I wouldn't bet on this game. But I do think SMU is going to win. I think they've got the line right. I think it's going to be a good game, and I think this is where the Cards officially end their playoff run this year. They're looking for bowls. So that's what I'm thinking. I think you see a lot of offense, we'll say. I think SMU is absolutely going to cover, and I think it's going to be an over game. I think they're going to win by a touchdown. What about you, dude?
Well, I don't know. I've kind of been feeling SMU on this one here. But the line has been all over the place. On Sunday, the Cardinals were the favorites. And then it was the 3.5 line. Now it's back to 2.5, still in the Stang's favor.
Okay.
I'm looking at it. I'm basically looking at it as very, very equal teams on paper. But it is the home of SMU. And I think that's what gives them that little nudge out there. That being said, this is a game I'm not going to touch. This is my forget it.
Okay.
Yeah, the Cardinals have really let me down the past 2 weeks against Clemson in California. With that in mind, I've got SMU all the way, covering and over.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm with that 100%. I think it is going to be a good game, though. I think it will be a good game, but I think SMU's got one more team to piss off, and I think it's this weekend. So,
can I?
There you go.
Again, kind of is the Minnesota Northwestern game. I count that would be the most entertaining this weekend. Coming off absolutely getting it hammered to them. Both of them trying to put something out there. On paper, Northwestern has the edge for sure, but Minnesota, those Gophers are getting their star running back. And I think that coach is going to lean a little bit heavier on him and maybe not be as cautious as would be the standard practice. And I think Minnesota is going to edge out on that one. I know y'all haven't probably looked into that or whatever, but I just going over all the little games. I think that is absolutely going to be my must-watch game, and it's a very probably surprising must-watch, I would think, for a lot of people.
Especially considering Northwestern Michigan game from this weekend. Clearly, right. Northwestern is trying to prove something. And you've been preaching up those Gophers all season. and waiting for their chance to really get to prove something. So I'd be inclined
They've been banged up.
I've been inclined to having that change of roster is definitely a major factor. That sounds like an exciting one to watch. What about you, Brian?
No, I'm with that, man. I always like to see the unranked games to get a couple good games. You know what I mean? It's you don't always have to just watch the guys that are ranked and the teams that are relevant to the playoff and stuff like that. There's still a lot of good football out there, and that goes down D1, D2, high school. You know, where, and especially local, man. You should get out there and support your local guys, even if you live close to a high school or whatever. Don't be a creeper, but go support your team. You know, just get involved.
Or scout out future SEC refs and then make YouTube shorts about it.
That was great.
Good plug. Good plug.
Yeah.
Here's one of those fluff games. The next one coming up. I mean, there's going to be a line of fluff games here. Georgia's got the Charlotte 49ers coming into home, and it's just you're going between the hedges. You're Charlotte. Georgia's got to stay relevant and do the same thing that these teams that are trying to make their, it's just poor Charlotte is all I can say. It's just going to be, I don't know about the 44.5 covered. I don't see Georgia scoring that many points if they don't have to, and I really don't think they're going to have to. I do think it'll be an over game, but that's just because Charlotte kicks a lot of field goals. I don't see this being a whole lot of fun for those 49ers. So what do you think, GB?
I think it's interesting that the ticket prices for this game are 10 times as much as the Miami and Virginia Tech game.
Right.
With that said, I think the Bulldogs will take this game out of hand. It'll get out of control. I would not be surprised if they cover that. What about you, dude?
I'm pretty solid on the Bulldogs covering this and it being an over game, and I'm putting a lot of that on the famous group text between all of the Saban apostles, whatever you want to call them there, where you got Kirby and Lane, everybody, talking to each other. And I think there's a lot of ego on the line this week. And from what Kirby said, I think he absolutely has to put up some points just for that saving face there. And that kind of seems like a childish reason, but absolutely when you're at that level, the opinion of the fans does not matter. The opinion of college football does not matter. You've earned all that.
Cheers.
But yeah, these 3 or 4 dudes that you've been through the ringer with and are now competing actively against, that's your audience. And so put your money up on that. That is my solid lock it in and bet of the week.
Right on. Well, the next one's another fluff game. I mean, Bama just got wounded. Somebody got through the chink in the armor. Bama's pissed off. And whether or not anybody wants to believe it, DeBoer's, I don't think he's painted the walls yet. He might have rearranged the room and got his own office. But there's still a lot of people in Alabama watching what DeBoer's doing and how he's reacting and what he's doing with the team and just a lot of stuff. There's a lot of eyeballs on him right now. And there's some good coaches out there that are available still right now until at least the end of next week. So they better come out here and slap these poor little Panthers around. And if they don't, we're going to have a real serious talk before the Egg Bowl. And we can talk about that maybe a little bit later, or might have a little short coming out soon. I don't know. But there is zero chance these Panthers come in here and even look like they have a chance of even scoring a touchdown. Bama is going to beat them down into the ground. We're going to see that just the lines roll tide, and the over-under is a lot, baby. It does not matter. You can bet on this game that Alabama is about to whoop some ass. And that's just because they have to. And I honestly think Ty Simpson needs a confidence getter backer. I feel I watched him get slapped around, moved a lot, made some questionable decisions, and you could literally see it on the man's face. It was the least confident he had been all year since FSU game. It was just not even close. He was not that cool, collected cat that we've been seeing grow every week. This is the first time he took a little step back as far as I was concerned. Even in the closer games, he still did things better. Now, he didn't have a running game. He didn't have an offensive line. Everything looked like crap. So I'm not placing all the blame on his feet, but he did not look good, and he better look damn good come Saturday. I think he will. I want to hear what the Auburn fans got to say.
I think you bring up a good point, especially about Ty Simpson's performance. I think if the Iron Bowl was this week, Alabama would absolutely lose without question. I think he's too frazzled. I think he's going to have to make some major recovery steps. With that said, it's not the case. They'll roll through these Illini Panthers, if you want to call them that. It'll be a beat-up game for Auburn this week with Mercer as well. And then we're going to roll into the Iron Bowl, which will be a fun one for us to discuss next week on the show. But with all that to be said, this is my forget it game. Who cares? Dude, what do you think?
Well, I will say the line on this has the Crimson Tide at only 10.5-point favorites with an over-under of 56.5 points on this. So I am confident that the Crimson Tide will cover that line. The over-under, I don't know if I'm confident on the over-under, so I would stay away from that, but I would absolutely say that Bama can cover 10.5 points. And if you're in a place where you can gamble on this, that might be one you might want to go throw a few little extra bucks on, because that line is suspiciously low, and I predict that will move every day.
Mm-hmm. Well, the next one's closer to home.
I'll lead off with this one.
Yeah, please do.
I think UAB is hands down one of the worst teams in college football at this point. I would not have said that at the beginning of the season. A lot has happened, and they're a headless horseman running around. You've got two separate players who already said, you know what, I'm not going to risk getting injured. I'm going to quit on the team now. I'm going to go. And I'm just, you know my opinion on that. So the line has South Florida at 20.5 points. I say go Bulls. Them Toros have that all day long. The over-under at 69.5 points. That's where I kind of step away, because I don't know if the Bulls are going to score 70 points or not. I would say I'm pretty confident that it will be under that, but I really truly do think that the Bulls are going to put up probably 40 points in this game.
What's you, GB?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I got the Bulls on this one too. Blazers' biggest win this season was over Memphis and spoiling their playoff hopes. I will say that I do think that they will absolutely cover 20.5 points, but I'm with the dude here. I've got them under on the 69.5 points. I don't know what UAB is going to be adding to the equation.
Yeah, that's fair. I think I'm right there with you guys. I didn't really want to fool with the spread all that much, just because the Bulls, they let me down this year too. They had a chance to make a real run and be the new Florida's team and all that good stuff, and it's just not been the case. And I obviously want to see UAB do good. They're closer to home, very close for some of us. And I'd like to see that program do better. They've obviously fired the coach mid-season for good cause and won the very next game, but it's not their season, man. I think the Bulls absolutely win, but I wouldn't fool with it betting on this one at all. It's just I don't trust the Bulls, so I'll pass on that. This is a not fluff game. This is
CBS special.
I mean, this has
Game
serious
day.
implications. Yeah, this is a big game, and I think this is going to be Oregon's biggest test since Indiana. I think it's going to be a tough one. I mean, the spread was 9.5 when I checked it. Over under was 60.5 points. This is a midday game. The Trojans don't got to go too far to get to Oregon. It's just a little flight. It's not that bad. It's not like we're changing time zones and being all crazy and all that crap. These teams know each other. These coaches know each other. And I would really love to see USC come out here and piss off Oregon and just give them the boot, the final boot. Just no more Nike money this year. You can try next year. Toodles. I don't know if they're going to. I would love to see it. I almost want to bet on it, but I think there's too much of this for the old Ducks to keep on going down the road. So I'm going to take the Ducks to win it. I don't think they're going to cover. I think it's going to be a tight one because it's got to be, but it's going to be an over game because it's going to be one of them there shootouts. I think both of these quarterbacks very good. I think when in the right conditions, very good. They've both put very good stuff on tape this year, and it's going to be fun to watch them play against each other because neither one of their defense are all that great. So I just think this is going to be a good game. Very serious playoff implications here, but I think Oregon wins. What about you, dude?
Well, I'm inclined to agree with you that I would love to see the Trojans of Southern California give a flogging to them Ducks, pluck them, cook them up, all that. Oh, also the line has moved 1 point. It's 10.5 point line now. As I'm looking at it, though, I will still be rooting for the Ducks to win, not only because I will believe that they are winning and I will bet for them to win, but a USC team that wins then becomes a threat to that extra SEC team in the playoff. Oregon, they can take a loss. They're still locked in. USC can't take. You get what I'm saying here? So as an SEC homer, you need to root for Oregon, even on the over-under aspect. They've moved that by 1 point also. It's now 59.5 points. I'm still going to say that I'm not going to bet over-under, but I do think that Oregon is absolutely going to win this.
When I talked to some folks about this game, it really seemed to be a 50-50 decision on where they lied, mostly because half of the people I talked to just don't like Oregon. They don't like them this season. They don't think they deserve to be in the top 10. Maybe this channel's talked about it a little bit. The more and more I think about it, though, it seems more and more improbable that Oregon can lose. And because of that, I'm going to take USC with the upset.
All right, Gene Wilder.
Hey, I like it. I hope you're right. I really do.
I hope I'm right, too. But I hate the SEC implication that the dude's talking about, but at the same time, the best teams need to be in the playoff, and I don't think Oregon is one of those teams.
Wow.
I like it.
I'm my boy Blue. I'm with that.
I'm here.
All right. Oh God, we got to talk about Notre Dame again.
You're wild.
I watched the Pitt game last week, and I almost fell in love with that Pitt quarterback, the freshman, the young kid. I think he's 18 years old. He's got a lot of heart. He's got a hell of a cannon on him. I hated to see things unfold the way they did because I honestly felt if they had come out there and scored that first touchdown and kept that energy rolling, the outcome of that game and the energy of that game would have been completely different.
I have a lot of opinions on that and the officiating that took place in that.
Yes.
Robbery.
Yes. So I feel like they had all the right juju, and then here comes did you see that? Oh, did you? So, I digress. We're talking about this week. For some reason, Notre Dame's still ranked in the top 12 because, whatever. They got Syracuse coming in. They're going to beat the crap out of Syracuse. They're going to get ready for next week. Notre Dame wins. What do you think, dude?
I don't want to say those words. I would really like Syracuse to come up here and be the orange hero that we need. That being said, that ain't happening. I think that's a solid lock for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll jump on that too. The only person that seemed to question whether or not Notre Dame could cover that line is a buddy of mine who's an avid Notre Dame fan, and he seemed a little iffy on that. But for all of us who've been watching on the outside, they're going to cover. I have it as an over as well.
Yeah. Yep, that was a pretty easy one for me. I've given up on somebody. Notre Dame is going to be in like the Final Four for sure, even if it just doesn't matter. Just pay attention. They'll be there. There'll be some controversy. I've given up on an honest shake for this particular team. They're going to the playoff. Doesn't matter. Just pay attention. This next team I thought was going to be like that. The next game I thought was going to matter because I thought that Arkansas was going to be good this year, but they just they've got a good offense. It's just they've been so spotty. They've given good teams good games. But that dang defense and those dang officials just cannot give those guys a break. It's just I've got a friend at work who is a avid woo pig, and it's just and he's very honest too. It's just he knows what the team is, and he no false hopes there. But I think the last time they won a championship, Jerry Jones and Jimmy Johnson were on the team, so it's been a while.
Shout out to Joe Buck. He said he's going to be at that game.
Right on. Texas has to do all the things to Arkansas that Notre Dame is going to do to Syracuse. Texas better come out here and thump them. I really think they need to. It's this, right? It's just, and I've seen the circle of the wheel is like Oklahoma beats Bama and Bama beats Georgia, and Georgia beats Texas, and Texas, it's just, but none of them beat each other. So it's going to be real interested to see how this plays out in the playoffs. But Texas absolutely is going to win this game. They're going to cover that, and I think it's going to be an over game. I think Corwoo picks. It's just they've shot their shots, man. I don't think there's any more juju in there left to pull from, and Texas is absolutely fighting for the playoffs and trying to stay relevant and put that eye candy on all their games. So I just think it's going to be a long day for Arkansas. What do you think, GB?
I think you need to give a little bit of credit to Georgia this weekend. They really put out an impressive showing against Texas. I mean, really gutsy calls too, that onside kick. You have to give it to Kirby Smart and that crew. They were trying to make a statement. I think they definitely did. I also think, as we've said, Arkansas inconsistent, but they do try and make some games close, put up lots of points. Because of that, obviously Texas is going to win, but I do not think they cover the 10.5 points. I do think it'll be an over game. What about you, dude?
I'm kind of inclined to agree with you if I were to put it purely based on skill and the teams matched up against each other. I think that Texas is going to win by more than 10.5 points, though, at the end of the day.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Yep. Next game's important, too. I have not forgot about Mr. Pavia. I still think he's good, and I still think he's got some fire to him.
Well,
I still think he's got some play left.
That's the big question when it comes to the playoff outlook that we have here, is where you have Vandy sitting in comparison to your Georgia, to Tennessee, some of these other teams like that. And it's, as you said.
Yeah, the Spider-Man meme. Yeah.
So we need them to come out solid here. I think Vandy absolutely will. I think it's an over game. I think they cover the line.
How about you, GB?
Spoke with a Kentucky native today to try and get their opinion on it, and they seem to have a lot of faith in Kentucky's defense. The game that we kind of highlighted into was the Florida game. Really held Florida to 7 points. I think they had 38 points that game. Florida, a team that beat Texas. You talk about doing this, that, and the other, and all these teams beat here but lose here and lose by these margins here. I think that Vandy will absolutely win the game, but I don't think they cover, and I think we're going to go over.
Interesting.
I think Diego goes the F off on this thing. I think they absolutely
he
cover.
To get off the social media right now, though. He's
leaning heavy. Yeah, he's leaning heavy. I've seen he dialed it back there for a while, was getting the image going, getting it, polishing up, and then it just kind of went after that. Tighten it back up.
So much response, I think, from the kind of tie-in with Theo Vaughn, and then with his Theo's dating his mom, all that kind of stuff. And I think he should have just kind of backed out and left that be the impression that he had, instead of trying to get all the extra little bit of attention after that and putting all the ice on him and whatnot. Anyway.
Well, Vandy covers. It's over game. And if I had to bet, I'd bet on both of them. I think he absolutely has to come out here and show everybody that, hey, I'll be back next year. Maybe make my playoff run then. Maybe make my natty run then. I don't know. We'll see how everything shakes out. But, hey, stay tuned.
Yes, sir.
We got fluff games as far as I'm not a big fan of any of the stuff coming up right here. You got Michigan State playing at Iowa.
Can I jump on that one with you real quick,
please,
Brian?
dude.
Michigan State is a team that holds a very special place in my heart because they are the Auburn of the state of Michigan. And I've always liked to see their matchup with Michigan. There's been some amazing games over the past several years, coming down to the wire, final yard line stops right at the goal. With all that to be said, that is not the team that we have this year. Michigan State is the worst team in their conference just before Purdue. And because of that, Iowa is going to cover, and it will be an over game. What about you, dude?
I don't think Iowa covers. I think Iowa wins, but I don't think they cover.
I think Iowa wins. I don't think they cover, but I do think it's going to be an over game. So I'm with you. Michigan State's just not the team. They ain't got the juice. So
0 conference wins.
Nah, that's bad. That's bad luck, Cotton. Bad luck. You know who does have some conference win this year? The old UTETs. They got a bunch of those, and they changed my mind a couple weeks ago. K-State, not so much. I see Utah covering this, and I also see this as an over game. What do you think, dude?
I don't know. This is a game that I'm stepping away from, and it's probably one where I'm getting a little emotionally invested in it because I would like to see Kent State put the Utes in check and keep them from being a issue, we'll say, in the bowl games that play out. I do think that at the end of the day, Utah is going to win. As far as covering 16.5 points, I think we're looking at a 2-touchdown game. Yeah, I think it'll stay at a 2-touchdown game. I don't think it breaks 16, so we'll say they don't cover.
GGB.
Since their loss against to BYU back in October, Utah has been in a curb-stomping conference mission, beating every conference team by 27.5 points or 27 points or more. And I don't think Saturday is going to be any different. I think they're going to absolutely cover. Sure. I do think it's going to be an over game. I do like Kansas State. I mean, they're a team that I can remember the season opener against Auburn a couple years back. They had a solid program. It's something that I've really enjoyed watching. And I think up until maybe even last year, they really had a solid team. I hate to see the position they're in now.
Bees like that.
And
it does.
It's one syllable. It's Kansas State. It's not Kansas. That's how you say it.
Next game's not much different for me. I thought the Terps were showing some good football here and there. Even Mr. Nick Saban was giving them props early on, but it's been wishy-washy since then. But I don't like Michigan, so I'm going to talk some shit about them, I think Michigan does win the game. I do not think they're going to cover the 13.5-point spread, but I do believe it's going to be an over game because those Terps are going to give the last bit of little juju they got, try to piss somebody off. So I think they still lose, but I think they give them a good game. What about you, GB?
Yeah, I don't think the Wolverines are going to cover that. I do have – if I had to really get down to the nitty-gritty, because the way that Michigan's been playing this whole season, 45.5 points. I mean, I think it's right there. I think we're right there when we're talking about whether or not what these two teams can put together. And I'm leaning towards the under. What about you, dude?
I'm in line with you, but I'm leaning just slightly on the over there. I think it's going to be like 46, 47, right? Just right over it.
Mm-hmm. That's fair enough. It's fair enough. We'll see. But the next game.
I think the next game has got big implications, do they not?
Go ahead and start with it, GB.
Georgia Tech is a team that I was preaching up very early on in the season that I was really excited with what they've been able to put together, but I think they've been exposed. I think that, unfortunately, they have, especially their performance last week, they were getting chewed apart. And It makes me very nervous about this game. They squeaked out against Boston College, who was 1-9, and it came down to the wire with them. I want Georgia Tech to win so that when they go against Georgia, they can have some confidence. But Georgia, as we said, dominated Texas last week. Georgia's feeling pretty good, I would say.
Yeah.
I'm not going to touch this game, but I'm unfortunately feeling like Pittsburgh is going to pull it out. What about you, dude?
I am solid on the Pitt wagon. It's better for how I would like the playoffs to pull out if Georgia Tech were to win, but I think Pitt – I think they were absolutely robbed in this past week, and I think that they will be coming with blood already in their mouth from biting their lips so hard before they get out. I think that they're angry. I think they're going to come out there mean, and I think they are going to absolutely exploit a Georgia Tech that, like you said, has already been exposed.
Georgia Tech let me down this year too. I was preaching them up just right there along with you guys. And Key, he's such a good coach, but I think his head's been kind of elsewhere because he's been flying here and flying there and talking to this and focus hasn't all been on football maybe. So I just, and like I was saying earlier, I really fell in love with Pitt's quarterback. They made the change after the losses. This kid stepped right in. He has been phenomenal for him, and he is a very good talent. He is coming up. As long as he stays healthy, you're going to see a good Pitt team in the future. Well, I don't want to, God bless, but I just
that's why I don't compliment quarterbacks anymore.
He's just good. I want to see him prosper. I do want to see him prosper, but I like King too. So, and I feel like he's had to do the bounce around game too, and he's finally found a place where he's done well. So I wish both these teams could win, but they can't. And I would love to get with Pitt and be able to say that, yeah, I think they're going to win, but I think Georgia Tech wins this game in an over game, but they don't cover. I think this comes down to 1 point game, and Georgia Tech squeaks it out. So,
okay.
It's a good one to watch either way.
Yeah.
I hope the refs let them play.
I think the last two games are going to be good games. I think they're going to close out the night well. We got 6:30 and 7 o'clock games, ABC and Fox, and I think they're both going to be good ones. I was preaching up Cincinnati earlier this year. Everybody knows Florida is just don't bet anything because you never know who's going to show up or what's going to show up. It's just in Tennessee, other than their offense and Aguilar, I don't like any of this. The best team on the screen right now is BYU, and I think that's easily stated. I think it's just you see the emblems. You've seen the season, and Cincinnati really let me down. So as far as the Florida-Tennessee game, I do think Tennessee covers that 3.5 points, and they probably score a lot of points in the fourth quarter once Florida figures out they're not going to win this one either. Yeah, Tennessee covers an over game. What do you think, dude?
I was just checking to make sure we were looking at different things on there. I have to disagree with several statements you made there. One,
okay.
I don't think the best team on the board there is a little kitty cat. I think the best team on the board right there, as much as you Alabama might not want to say, is that Volunteer Nation. And then I think the second best team behind it would be the Bearcats. And I think those are my two picks if we're going to jump like that. I think Tennessee absolutely covers. They beat Florida. I think that game will go over for BYU versus Cincy. Cincy's pulling that upset. And I think that game will absolutely be over as well.
About you, GB?
Well, the Tennessee-Florida one is another big SEC matchup where previous records don't matter. This is a historic game. These teams are going to come out. They're going to play big, especially being at Florida. Florida's had the past 3 home games have been really exciting for them. You had the Texas win, you had Mississippi State, and then you had the 4-point loss to Georgia. So they play well at home. So I think it could be interesting. But with all that in mind, looking at – I know you're not supposed to look at previous matchups. Kentucky was one of the ones I looked at. I mentioned it earlier. They got shut out. Florida did, except for the 7 points. Meanwhile, Tennessee went and outscored them, which is what Tennessee likes to do, and they won that game against Kentucky 56-34. So all these factors in mind, I think Tennessee's going to cover. I think it's going to be an over game. Now, BYU Cincinnati, BYU's that team that I've been talking about all season that I didn't want to give them any credit for game after game after game after game. The only one I called that would absolutely be a loss for them was that Texas Tech game, which I saw. I was impressed with the Red Raiders and how they handled it. I think they're rightfully placed because of that. All that to be said, though, the Bearcats are busted. I think that they are broken from the past couple games. I think BYU is going to go all the way here and cover, and it will be an over game. Now, as far as the best team, on paper it says it's supposed to be BYU. I'd love to see BYU and Tennessee play each other and to get it settled. I hope we get to find that out.
That would be a good matchup.
Yeah.
But the Bearcats going to beat BYU. I'm telling you.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
we'll see.
We'll take it.
I think
there's always some good upset picks on the show.
I think BYU absolutely doesn't go down in rankings this week. We'll say that. So.
Well, that's not saying much. I mean, you got to think the ranking system is flawed. Notre Dame could just keep losing, and they'll lose their way to the top regardless.
No, they don't lose. They don't lose. No, Notre Dame. Well, that's our last pick for the night, boys. You got any remarks you want to make here at the end? I think we need to put a button on it.
Well, I think the California at Stanford game was $169 tickets.
What?
But then we had the Miami game, still at $6 ticket. I don't know why. I'm not gonna get past that. If you have even. If you're a bandwagon fan, if you're a diehard fan, if you're a casual fan, whatever, and your team is making a playoff run and you can get tickets to the game for cheaper than you can get a meal anywhere, go to the game, you know?
Yeah.
Support your teams, local teams. Have some heart, pride.
Thanks for having us on the show, Brian. Excited about Saturday morning for checking back in, diving a little bit deeper into some of these games.
Yeah.
Appreciate you having us on.
We always look forward to that. Yeah, guys, I always appreciate you being here. Absolutely what you said, JB. We'll have a 7:20 show on Saturday Central Time. That's where we really dive into these bigger games, or 5 or 6 we really like to touch on, and maybe something we forgot to say tonight, we'll bring it in on Saturday. But
yeah,
this has been your Dude Bros. This has been Sports Ball Talk, and we appreciate you guys signing in with us. See you on Saturday.
See you then.